Yeah, we're going. It's going.
So have you seen any good wrestling this week?
Um, Not yet.
No, not yet. But I'll
Uh,
tell you what, last week was a hell of a week.
Last week was fucking awesome. So the day is, since this is a little different from our usual podcast, to where you can just listen to this whenever the fuck you want, and it doesn't really matter what we're talking about as far as like current product goes, because we don't talk about it that much. Um, so I'm going to put a date on this recording. So it makes sense if you're listening to this in 17 years after society has collapsed. It is the 24th of August, year of our Lord, 2021. Um, it is a Tuesday. Raw happened last night after SummerSlam. I know kind of what happened somewhat, but I didn't watch it.
I
Um,
can fill you in. Do you? I'm guessing we're gonna like go like worst to best here. Like
um,
well, so like is
sure.
that how we're gonna start this?
Yeah.
So okay, so here's what happened. At SummerSlam, WWE made it really clear that they're still racist against Bianca Belair. Um, they somehow ruined what should have been the biggest return of the year in Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Um, RK Bro is still the best thing on the main roster.
Oh, that's fucking dude.
So
They're so fucking awesome. I If it wasn't for RK Bro and Baron Corbin, I would have zero reason to want to keep up with anything WWE.
Baron Corbin, I was looking at his Instagram today. I don't even remember why, but he's like been posting these pics in Vegas of like these nice hotel rooms and stuff. And the WWE today posted like a backstage video, and it was like Corbin. So is this where you're actually been staying while you're in Las Vegas? It was just this like dirty, dingy like Motel Six.
Poor guy,
Um,
man.
oh my
I
god, I
you,
was cracking up.
you should go check his Twitter because he's been posting videos every like he's posted a few videos since Saturday when because they had SummerSlam in Vegas. Um,
Yeah.
he's been posting some shit. He won like I think it was like Sunday morning. He posted this video. He was like, I came in here with $35, and he's holding $100 bill, and he's like, I love Vegas. But
That's hilarious.
yeah, he's fucking awesome. You know this. Maybe the people listening don't know this. I am a long time Baron Corbin fan, and seeing him finally get some appreciation on the main roster is fucking. It's so awesome because he is genuinely. I know he's been a part of some dumb shit, but he's genuinely like has like one of my favorite move sets. And I loved his like lone wolf character in NXT and like his early main roster days. Um, but yeah, it's awesome finally seeing him get some like positive attention to his character and to himself.
In literally like the most negative way possible, and I think that's what's
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah,
And I actually was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about people who are safe, because it feels like no one is safe right now. I think Corbin is one of those guys who's safe because I'm trying to think of like a good person to compare him to from the past. It's just gonna be your guy that you know is no matter what gonna honestly like a Billy Gunn,
yeah,
where it's like you can tell him to do whatever you want him to do. He's gonna say yes, boss, and he's gonna go out there and he's not gonna half-ass it.
yeah.
He's at least gonna go out there and make it as good as it can be. And he has turned this whole broke boy gimmick into something that's I think fucking hilarious.
And again, this is from recording on August 24th, 2021. I could very well be wrong because I have been wrong about Corbin before, but I really feel like this is gonna like he's gonna come out of this with something great. Like they're going to give him something really good out of this.
Well, and
Um,
I think what it'll be a babyface turn.
yeah, and I think and I say I preface that with the recording date and the me probably being wrong about that with I think it was our this was years ago, and most people that are listening to this probably didn't even listen to what I'm about to bring up because no one was, and no one's really listening to this. Um, our award show for 2017.
Yep.
I predicted that by the end of, I think, 2019 or 2020, that Baron Corbin would be a world champion. Um, that was incorrect. Not
Yeah.
he did cash in Money in the Bank.
In
Um,
literally the worst failed cash in ever.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that happened, and I was wrong. And so I have been wrong about Corbin before, but I have a really good feeling that something good will come out of this current Corbin story.
I do too. I think that that'll be at the very least we get a good IC US title level person, but I think if they just play it out long enough, you can eventually get a good babyface turn out of them and get that everyman that they keep trying to build up
Yeah,
and actually get people interested in it.
and they need
Um,
to. And I'm not saying it has to be Corbin, but like they need to get some new guys in the main event scene, like bad.
they don't. They don't have they have nobody. I mean, hell, Bobby Lashley, as of Raw, it looks like he's going to feud with the U.S. champ Damian Priest, which good for
Yeah,
Damian Priest that he won the U.S. title. But like, they have nobody in that
right.
main event scene now. What I mean, Drew McIntyre supposedly can't challenge Bobby Lashley. Like, who do you have outside of Big E? But I did think that Big E was going to be the one to take Roman down, but now I don't. I kind
And
of feel like Brock Lesnar's going to win.
yeah, and that brings us to the other main event scene in WWE. We're back to Roman Lesnar, which like holy fuck, the the CD is skipping. It's been stuck on the same song for 6 years.
And is Roman Brock like the new Orton Cena?
Um, sure. I was really hoping you weren't gonna say Austin Rock because I was gonna jump down your fucking throat.
No, no, I would
But
not. I wouldn't dare. But I just feel like the amount of times that we go back to it, and like I feel like these two are now perpetually locked in the we're gonna fight forever
it
feud mentality.
it does feel like it feels a little more fresh this time around. It doesn't feel like the same stale Lesnar's dominating, send Roman at him to try to take him out. The roles
Yeah,
are a little reversed here.
yeah.
Um, but I just feel, and I know, okay, I know we have to get this at some point, and we were definitely going to. But it is obvious why Lesnar came back. We don't even have to say it right now. We can just leave it at that and then footnote it, and we'll come back
Yep,
to it later. But we
yep.
know why Lesnar came back, and the reasoning for it, like it does make sense, but at the same time, it happened the night after, and it just felt a little deflating.
Well, and exactly. It was, and if I am the WWE and I am in that position, I don't bring up. So I want to talk about the Becky and the Brock return in the same voice because the Brock return was not awful. The Brock return was fine. Like
I thought it
it
was
was
cool.
what. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I think he looks good. He looks fucking massive.
In a vacuum, in a vac, not to cut you off, but like
Yes,
in a vacuum, the Lesnar return is awesome. You go
yes,
watch that on a YouTube highlights video and don't pay attention to anything else that happened 24 hours prior, and that's an awesome return.
yes. 100%. The Becky return, though.
Mm.
And I know I touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but this is something that is really, really bothered me, and I think it shows the tone deafness of the WWE.
Yep.
If I'm the WWE and I know that 24 hours before this, one of, if not the biggest moment in pro wrestling history just took place. I don't try to beat that because you're not going to.
No.
Like the pop for Lesnar was big, but when you look online, it's not like there's hype that Lesnar is back. And the Becky return was just abysmally
It's
done.
been a volatile response to the Becky return.
Tell me why.
So
In what world? Just in what world does it make more sense to? I mean, they showed the promo package for Bianca and Sasha, and then they announced it. Why the fuck on Friday night did they not just say Sasha Banks is not medically cleared, but I tell you what, we've got an opponent, and you'll find out who it is on Saturday.
Right.
Everyone would have been hype. Everyone would have known, and then you don't go and do a fucking 6-second squash match. Like, are you kidding me? You took Bianca Belair, one of the people that you did the best job with during COVID of building up and turning into a legitimate star, and you have her lose to an opponent that got announced a minute before in 6 seconds?
Yep.
Like, I don't want to see Becky now. I don't give a fuck about Becky.
No.
And there's always going to be the people that like what happened whenever Kofi got squashed by Brock. Well, you just gotta wait and see how it plays out. You gotta wait and see how they're going to play out.
Waited and saw how that played out, and Kofi's not on TV right now.
The WWE is the last company that I'm going to trust to just let's just see how it plays out. Yeah. No, it never just plays out the way that it should.
No, I will say I do. The Becky thing is a little weird for me. I have an opinion on it, and then at the same time, like I feel like I have two different opinions on how it went down. Obviously, I don't agree with the squashing of Bianca. But like there was so much wrong with the return. So to dig into the dirt sheets, if you believe the dirt sheets, WWE knew that Sasha wasn't going to be cleared for the match a week prior to SummerSlam. So they continue to run the angle on SmackDown, and they continue to run the promos, and they continue to build up this match. And like you said, literally leading up to Bianca's entrance.
They're advertising it.
Right. And then Bianca comes out. We're waiting for Sasha. They announce Sasha is not medically cleared. And then we get Carmella. So, and that like, yes, we have seen Carmella Bianca 1,000 times by now. But whatever. At this point, we're getting Bianca Carmella. Sure. Becky comes out. That's awesome. That's sweet. So Becky comes back, and she proceeds to make two people look like total chumps in her return by just literally just tossing Carmella out of the ring with little to no resistance to that, and then beating Bianca with one move. That sucks. That really sucks. And I know why, whatever the reason may be, Becky was gone. Sure. But Becky was gone. And those two have been there the whole time. And Carmella has done great during the pandemic. And Bianca has done great during the pandemic. So, you get your fans back, and then you just shit on, two of the top women in your division during the hardest time for your company. And, that kind of leads me back to what we said on the last episode of, the Revenge of the Taker review. At the beginning of that, we were kind of ranting about how shitty WWE is at the moment. You bring your fans back, and you just kind of, shit on the people who carried you through the hardest point of your company. And, how does that make I can't even say employees, because they don't even view them as employees, but how does that make your workers feel? Like imagine Drew McIntyre. Opinions of him now may have changed, but he carried Raw and that company on his back the entire pandemic. Imagine at SummerSlam, he's still champion and Goldberg comes out, or Lesnar comes out and beats him in 6 fucking seconds.
Like it would be universally destroyed and
Right.
universally panned. Yeah, and it just I agree with every single thing you said. It just didn't make sense. There was just so many other ways you could have gone about this return and made it feel impactful and made it feel big.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I still don't think I would have done either of them, because like or like why not hold them off for SmackDown next week?
Yeah. I mean, and the Lesnar return, you look at that, you don't watch AEW, you don't watch Impact, you don't watch Ring of Honor, you don't watch New Japan, whatever. You only watch WWE, right? You don't even know what's going on in the world of wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever the fuck you want to call it, outside of watching WWE. You just 1 month ago watched CM Punk, or you just 1 month ago watched John Cena make the exact same return after Roman's match with Edge at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And then Lesnar does the same fucking thing after Roman's match with Cena.
But again, if you are a WWE in a vacuum fan, you don't care about anything other than WWE, the Lesnar return was fine.
Yeah.
And it doesn't excuse the Becky return.
No, not at all. And I just don't know. I do like Lesnar's return. I had a few days to think on it. But I'm also not a WWE guy. I watched 2 matches from that pay-per-view. I watched 2 matches and 1 entrance about 70 fucking times.
The Brood entrance, yeah. Just so we can kind of get moving out of SummerSlam into the more fun shit. The Brood entrance was great, though.
Oh yeah, that Brood entrance is fucking awesome, dude. I literally I was at Brady's this weekend, and I literally just sat on his fucking bed and watched it over and over and over and over again. But yeah, I don't watch WWE. I am and I hate to say this, and I'm really not trying to take from the guy's promo that he just fucking cut, but it's true. I am a wrestling fan. I am not a sports entertainment fan.
Yep.
And now that I don't have, I hate to say it this way, but I think you'll get what I'm saying. Now that I don't have to watch WWE to get my wrestling fix, I don't give a fuck what that company does anymore. And and it's a thing of, I've watched it so long, and they are who got me into wrestling, and they were the only product that I really had the option to watch on a mainstream scale. Which, when you're working a full-time job, you really only do have time to sit down and watch what's on the mainstream as far as wrestling goes. I do still keep up what's going on. There are definitely still guys in that company and women in that company that I like to see, and I like to see them do good things. We are going to talk about a lot of bullshit, because there's some bullshit that happened on Raw last night. But there's there are workers in WWE that I care about and want to see them do great. And
which
one of the guys that I don't particularly care for very much, but it is still a shame to see what they're doing with him, is Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
So
okay. Can I tell you, I don't give a fuck about Karrion Kross. I couldn't give 2 less of a shits about Karrion Kross, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one is the way that they've treated him. The guy was literally, after he gets pinned by Samoa Joe at TakeOver, they're literally sitting there chanting "Hardy, Hardy, Hardy," but they've completely buried this guy, and then they move him up to the main roster, and they take away the one thing that kind of made him cool, which was his wife. Where did she go? They took away his wife, and last night on Raw, they gave him some new straps and a mask.
Yeah.
But
Um, I
I
I don't really understand that. What do you? Well, it's like the War Raiders thing. So
yeah,
they come into WWE, they go to NXT. They obviously, for publicly traded company reasons, they changed their name from War Raiders to was it Viking Raiders originally?
yeah, it was well, no, it was when before they came into the WWE, it was War Machine.
War Machine, that's right. And then they made them War Raiders.
Yeah, then it was War
That's okay,
Raiders,
that's correct.
and then they made them the Viking Raiders.
Well, their first week on the main roster, they were the Viking Experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And no one fucking liked that.
No.
um insert the fallout, everyone disliked that thing. Um but yeah, no one fucking liked it. So then they changed it to Viking Raiders, which is what we have now. And yeah, so that got fixed. This carrying cross thing is ridiculous. Like they take this guy who up until Sunday was undefeated in NXT. Two-time NXT champion. Again, I don't really care too much for the guy. I personally, and my opinion doesn't fucking matter for shit, but I personally don't think he's entertaining. I think he's really boring to watch. Like you said earlier, the only thing about him that I really give a fuck about is his wife. Um, I just don't think he's that great. I actually, uh, to pull back the curtain a little bit, in my other wrestling group chat that you're not in, I compared Karrion Kross to the Mike Bennett signing from a few years ago, where they
Yeah.
really just brought Mike Bennett in to bring Maria Kanellis back. And then that didn't work out. But
No, it didn't.
but it's it's the same thing, but on like a larger scale. Nobody gave a fuck about Mike Bennett. They only cared about Maria. But Mike wasn't doing anything in the company. He wasn't doing shit. So we get to Karrion Kross, where no one really cares about him. Everyone only really cares about Scarlett. But this guy has been undefeated in NXT, and he was NXT champion when he made his main roster debut and lost to Jeff Hardy with a roll up. So,
And so the thing that confuses me even more, and to kind of get onto the topic of NXT, because NXT did have a really good weekend. So have you seen the stuff that this Nick Khan interview that he did with Ariel Helwani?
I did see that. There's a
So
lot about NXT that we need to cover on this actually, because it's
so
about
and
to, yeah.
yeah, I want to kind of try to kind of transition over that way here with this. A lot of what he said on there was, one, he did say it's going to be a rebranding, which it sounds like the rebranding is going to be kind of an aesthetic thing in terms of like the production and the stage and lighting and yada 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 for that kind of shit. But the other thing that he did mention is that they want to start bringing in more just professional athletes and training them to be pro wrestlers. And so with that, I think we can, we see, all right, they're obviously going back to be a true developmental brand.
Mm-hmm.
They want that. they want the OVW class of 2004 again.
Right. Which, if I may cut in, I'm surprised they haven't done this before, because
well,
for years NXT has been, in the eyes of like wrestling fans and not your, mainstream fan, your casual fan, NXT has been better than main roster WWE.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and I think and it's been the super indie, and but whenever I one they in their minds have failed because they decided they were going to compete with AEW instead of just letting them be two separate things. But so Nick Khan has very clearly made these changes to turn it back into a pure developmental brand where we're going to have, your 6'4" jacked to the nines monsters that are all going to be under the age of 35 and have got 10 plus years careers because they're going to all wrestle like Sheamus, which I love.
Yep.
Sheamus. I'm not saying anything negative against Sheamus or anything like that, but that is what they're trying to create. why the fuck do you move Karrion Kross right now then? That if that is what you want, why the fuck? Why like? And that to me gets to just the core issue of this entire company. I can deal with bad booking. I love NJPW, and let me tell you, it's not been an easy year to be an NJPW fan. But they don't insult my intelligence. They don't do shit that is so stupid and so inane and ridiculous that like it's I can tell they want me to love Karrion Kross. I know they do. They want me to think that this is the scary, amazing monster. It's gonna rip everyone to shreds. But then they also want to take away everything that makes him unique, even down to the fact that they renamed the Doomsday Saito to just the Doomsday Suplex.
Yep.
Why did you? Well, because again, you are insulting the intelligence of your viewers. Because they assume that we are just too fucking stupid to. Oh, what a Saito? What the? It's the same shit as the Ultimo and Ultimo Dragon, and it is to such a degree where it's like they don't even make sense anymore. Like Karrion Kross, if that is what you want your new NXT to be, then he should have beaten Samoa Joe and kept the title. And we should have been waiting for a Ridge Holland to build up and beat him.
And that's the thing too, is like, now that we're on the topic of NXT and like what's going on with NXT, if you want these big 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 250, 260 jacked guys to carry the flag for NXT moving forward, why do you have that guy that you just described? They also don't want indie darlings in NXT as much, right? So why do you have the guy that you just described, who was already your champion, lose to the guy you just said you don't want to represent NXT? What the fuck is happening?
Well, do you know what here? You know what I think they're gonna do? I think Joe's gonna vacate it.
Yeah.
I think Joe's gonna go out there and he's gonna go, I did this because Cross was a scourge to NXT, but now it's time to let NXT get back to what it should be or whatever, and he's gonna vacate it.
Yeah. And he is going to go back into his regal assistant role, and
he'll come and do 2 matches every year or whatever, and that'll be it. But
and so like with NXT, they're, like you said with the NitCon interview, it's undergoing changes. It is not NXT anymore as we know it. All the way down to their deal with Full Sail University running out, and they are moving full time to the Capitol Wrestling Center, where they have been for the majority of the pandemic. I think they were at the PC for a while, but I feel like they've been at the CWC for the majority of the pandemic.
They've been at the CWC for a while. I'm trying not to be too negative. I'm trying to look at it like the great CM Punk so eloquently put it. I'm trying to look at this as, okay, this is a sports entertainment brand, and I'm going to watch it for sports entertainment. But like you said, the problem is I don't watch sports entertainment.
I don't like sports entertainment. I like wrestling.
And do you know where you did get to see some wrestling this weekend, though?
All Elite Wrestling.
Yes. No. The best match from the whole fucking weekend. This is all I've wanted to talk about today. And I'm going to say one positive thing about NXT. Walter versus Ilya Dragunov is my match of the year. My match of fucking... It's in my top 5 favorite matches I have ever watched. This company may be dog shit, but every so often they throw you a giant diamond-studded gold turd. This was that diamond-studded gold turd.
Do you want to hate me real quick?
Yeah.
I still haven't sat down and watched it yet.
Okay, well, we can just stop this
now. No, I mean, I saw your message and I saw your fucking the video on the group chat on Snapchat, and I did want to sit down to watch it. I had a really busy fucking weekend, but I haven't sat down to watch it yet. I may watch it tonight. I may watch it tomorrow. I've heard great things about it. I've also seen some really stupid shit comparing Ilya,
Yeah.
saying that he's better than Kenny Omega, which come the fuck on.
Okay.
That's not even close to accurate. But
No, that's not true whatsoever. But like this match, I think it was everything that I love about pro wrestling. Where I want to get Carson to watch it. It's
right.
the only match I've watched that I've actually thought, man, I want to get my girlfriend to watch this because it there was it's one of the only times I can remember in recent history where I genuinely, from a real moment, I forgot that they knew what was happening. Like it was, I legitimately was like, oh my god, these guys are going to literally fucking murder each other in the middle of this ring. And I was like, oh wait, I'm not watching the UFC right now. But like there, and like the whole story of the match was one. It did not matter what Walter did. Ilya could not physically keep him down.
Yeah.
But Ilya won with the rear naked choke, which has been Walter's finisher.
Right.
And the whole match, it was Ilya working on the neck of Walter and beating down the neck and beating down the neck and beating down the neck. And Ilya would get close to getting it locked in, but not quite. But then the second that he had it fully locked in, Walter was tapping like his life depended on it. And I love that because this is a man who hasn't lost in over 1,000 days.
Which is nuts. That is insane.
It's fucking crazy in and of itself. But to then have him tap out like enthusiastically, like he was legitimately terrified for his life.
Yep.
They have made a star with Ilya Dragunov.
And
like,
to take that, I don't want to take it back to the main roster full time, but I just want to compare the, how good of a storytelling thing that is to how bad it is on the main roster. So they, like you said, Walter loses to a submission, taps out. That makes Ilya look huge, right? They tease the, I'm talking about the Roman Reigns John Cena match. They tease the guillotine, which Roman has been using as his finish for the past like 6 or 7 months. They tease that, and instead they have Roman win with a spear, which he hasn't used to win a match in probably like a year plus, all in an attempt to keep that thing going where like Cena hasn't tapped out in however long it's been. Which, if your goal in having Roman beat Cena at this point is to make Roman look better, then why the fuck not have him tap out the guy who hasn't tapped out in fucking years? You know what I mean?
And I think the thing that annoys me the most about shit like that is that, it's not like Cena's the one that says, no, I'm not going to tap. He doesn't give a shit. You could tell Cena to go out there and job out to Roman in 5 minutes and he would do it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think he would be happy to do that.
I'm sure he would be. What are you protecting? All you're doing is making Roman look weaker, or making it look like, I guess in their mind, I guess in their minds, they're not making Roman look weaker. They're making John Cena look stronger. But again, what their short-sightedness does is they don't realize that by making John Cena look stronger, they've now made Roman look weaker.
And there's no fucking way they're going to have Roman beat Brock with the fucking guillotine, dude. Like, there is no way that's happening.
Oh no, there's literally no chance in hell that he's gonna. That's really what it did for me. Was it completely sealed? Like, okay, well, at least I know how Roman will beat Brock. Which, again, I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. But
yeah, I don't know if that's guaranteed. But yeah. From all accounts I've heard, the Ilya Walter match was fucking awesome.
It was.
I haven't watched it yet, but.
It was truly amazing, and it's on the short list of wrestling matches that I would show a non-wrestling fan.
Right, and now I'm glad you said that because I was about to bring it back to you saying you wanted to show that match to Carson. I'm sure that's a great match to show to Carson. I showed my girlfriend watched Roman Reigns versus fucking John Cena with me, which she actually just got here. I am so fucking sorry for making you watch that match. But yeah, I guess, is there anything we need to talk about within the realm of, oh, I just looked at our Discord chat from a fucking message I sent, how long ago was this? January 27th, 2019. Adam Cole. So I actually just read something that made that, that's kind of changed this a little bit, but not really for what I think is going to happen with that. So at this point, again, August 24th, I don't know what the fuck's happened yet. I'm not a fortune teller. The big story leading into Takeover Sunday was Adam Cole's contract was supposed to have expired like midnight of Sunday, leading into Monday. I read something today. I think it was from Fightful. I could be wrong. That his contract doesn't actually expire until Friday. So anyone that was wanting him to show up on Dynamite tomorrow, that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But with that said, he did lose to Kyle O'Reilly at Takeover. So I don't know. I at this point,
and not only that, all of his stuff on the WWE shop is heavily discounted right now.
I did not know that. He also
Yes.
said on his Twitch stream recently that he wasn't going to leave Twitch, which, if you've been keeping up with that bullshit, main roster talent for WWE are not allowed to have Twitch accounts.
And if you go and you look at the Young Bucks bio, it's a link to a seance.
Yeah, I saw that. I
was like, all right, you assholes.
So, I mean, all signs are pointing to Adam Cole going to AEW. I actually kind of fantasy booked this with Brady the other day. I said at All Out, Christian's going to come very close to beating Kenny for the AEW title, and then Adam Cole's going to make the save for Kenny and join the Elite.
Could see. Yeah, I could totally see that. So, I want to be a slight Debbie Downer.
Okay.
After Adam Cole, AEW's got to take a fucking chill pill.
Oh no, they do, and I don't think they're going to, because reports have shown that Bray Wyatt is most likely headed to AEW once his 90-day no compete is up. And we're still waiting on you. I know you were about to say it, Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
But like after that, it's not only a thing of think they need to take a break. It's a thing of I don't know who the fuck else they could get.
Well, and I don't want any more people. Like I'm already worried that Andrade is gonna fall in between the gaps, and you know, I am all about bringing in the talent that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think a Bray Wyatt makes sense.
I don't think Bray Wyatt makes sense in the current state that he is in. If he comes in with his like, whether it be the Fiend with a twist on it to make it hit like more his own thing, or whether it be backwoods cult leader Bray Wyatt. I don't think that fits into the way that AEW works. Because the closest we've really gotten to anything like that is Dark Order. Like, I'm talking like first few weeks. Yeah, like first few weeks of AEW Dark Order.
Yeah.
And Malachi Black. But
and I think Malachi Black is more than enough dark spooky bitch for one show.
I agree. I think that's the perfect balance, because he's not so much like a supernatural being like the Fiend was, so much as he is just some goth dude that's kicking heads off shoulders.
Yeah, like he's what I always wanted him to be in WWE, which is the badass Danish kickboxer who also just happens to be a spooky bitch.
Yeah, he just likes dead stuff. I don't know. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, like that's a dope ass character. So here's my dream booking of Bryan Danielson and Bray. Bryan Danielson, you have him debut at Arthur Ashe Stadium. you immediately go into the Kenny feud. Because unlike Punk, who I feel like you slowly simmer into the Kenny and Mox feuds, I don't think you have to do that with Bryan. I think Bryan is ready made to come in, do 2 to 3 big huge dream matches. You go and you do the Kenny Omega match, maybe a Hangman Page match as like a number 1 contender, and maybe like the Darby match. And then you put Bryan on ice. Let Bryan be your Brock. Let Bryan come in when you need the big gun. Bray, you don't we don't see Bray Wyatt on TV for a year. I'm talking full on Sting in the rafters, vignettes every week, just 20, 30 seconds here and there, little things for a year. And then you bring him in. And when you bring him in as a heel against your newly champion Hangman Page.
I fuck with that. I agree with everything you said with Bryan, 100%. And in my fantasy booking, Bray doesn't even go to AEW. He goes to New Japan.
Yep.
Because I feel like that character would work a lot better in New Japan than it would AEW. I feel like it would work a lot better in New Japan than it would Ring of Honor or Impact. Yeah. Because really, what has New Japan been lacking for a while? A big scary monster like they had in Vader back in the day.
Yep.
And I think Bray fits that perfectly. I think he comes in. He won't be there until October, so I think he comes in. He reigns terror on the juniors. Not that he's going to be in the junior heavyweight division, obviously.
I get what you're saying, though.
But he reigns terror on the juniors. He takes all those fucking guys out. Wrestle Kingdom, he has a big match with Suzuki, or someone in that vein. He wins the G1 next year. He goes on to Wrestle Kingdom 2023 at this point, I guess. And he wins the heavyweight title there. I skipped a lot there. Like I went to like a year and a half, 2 years into the future with that.
Like I get, yeah.
But like, and he can still show up in AEW. That Forbidden Door's been kicked down clearly. But he can still show up in AEW. He can still go to Impact. I think that's what makes wrestling, and keyword there again, not trying to steal from Punk, but that's what makes wrestling is these companies working together. And I think that's what we really need because, Impact has gotten a lot of eyes on it with, Kenny winning their title and then AEW wrestler Christian Cage winning the title, which he's, like a TNA legend. It's weird. But then, it's not even just those two. It's Jay White showing up in Impact. It's, I don't like him, but like the possibility of Sami Callihan going to AEW to team with Moxley. It's Tanahashi cutting a fucking promo on AEW. Like, that's insane.
That is what makes wrestling amazing. And that's what, this is what wrestling should have always been.
Yeah.
And to kind of tie it all up with a nice little bow, obviously the biggest news of the entire weekend.
Kiera Hogan debuting on AEW Rampage.
And getting her ass beaten by my girl Jade Cargill. That bitch.
She's fucking sweet.
She is a bad bitch. I love her. CM Punk is back.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? I jumped to the Twitter machine real quick. I just tweeted like right before we started recording. I tweeted 52 minutes. Hey, let's just go back. Let's just go back a little bit to Friday. So, I'm going to assume that this was like right when, because me and you and I watched this together.
Yes.
On Discord. My first tweet, LOL, dude, holy shit. My second tweet, y'all remember when CM Punk came back to wrestling on August 20th, 2021, which like, dude, that was sweet. That day was awesome. The Tank Abbott tweet. I'm gonna try to find a way to screen grab this and put it on the video because this fucking tweet
God,
is
that was
beautiful.
so good. But so I have like a little mini heartfelt rant I want to say about the CM Punk thing.
I have one to follow.
This is the culmination of 15 years of dealing with bullshit. It is 15 years of a company telling their fans blatantly and openly, we don't give a fuck what you want. We don't care if you like our champions. We don't care if you like who we put out here. We don't even give a fuck if we go out there and we give you a fucking pay-per-view filled with dog shit because you're still going to pay for it. And we finally fucking get a company that listens. And we finally get a company that hears what people want and hears what the deepest fucking desires they could possibly want. The CM Punk coming to AEW is, if pro wrestling ended on Friday, I would be happy. Because that was what we have been building for 15 years, was that moment. And finally getting the catharsis of, holy shit, I have a pro wrestling company that is actually going to listen to me and is actually going to hear my voice when I say, this is all I want. Give this to us and we will be happy. Because that's all AEW is. AEW is a yes man. AEW is the company that they hear we say, we want this, and they say, all right, cool, we're going to get you there. Give us a little bit of trust, but we're going to get you there. And they have never once broken that trust. Why the fuck can't a multi-billion-dollar organization do that? Why, like, not to make this about the WWE, but at the end of the day, it is about the WWE. It's about the fact that this company that is 50, 60, 70 years old and is supposed to be the pinnacle of this great sport that we love, they couldn't get that guy. They couldn't get CM Punk to come back. And you want to know something? They couldn't sell out a fucking 10,000 seat arena in Chicago just off of the vague idea that someone might come back.
Yep.
And that is what AEW did.
Yep.
I have never been so fucking excited to be a pro wrestling fan. And I genuinely, I thank whatever God is up there that we finally have a company like AEW, and we finally have CM Punk back in pro wrestling business.
So, to piggyback off of that a little bit, mine's going to be filled with a little less anger and hatred.
That was literally 15 years of buildup that finally came out.
No, I completely understand. But you've known me for 5 or 6 years now.
Yep.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I have not been this positive and this in love and this happy with the state of professional wrestling ever.
In the entire time that I've known you, you've never been this fucking excited for wrestling.
And it comes full circle. I stopped watching wrestling for a few years. I'd say like 2009, 2008, I stopped watching. Actually, I know the exact moment I stopped watching. It was and it really had nothing to do, because this is actually like one of my favorite matches that I'm about to name here. So it is kind of weird that I stopped watching at this point. The Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels ladder match, which was in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last wrestling event that I watched for years. And then I don't watch any wrestling. I catch TNA every once in a while, and like maybe I'll flip it on to SmackDown just to see what's happening. But I'm not sitting down and watching the product. I'm not following anything. And then one random night in 2011, I decided to flip on Raw. There is this guy who is like covered in tattoos. With this
Scrawny.
little
Scrawny guy.
little scrawny dude. Which immediately caught me a little off guard because it's not what I was used to seeing on Raw. But I saw this dude and he was with this like group called the Nexus. For you fucking marks out there that don't remember this, CM Punk led the fucking Nexus at one point. He actually was still leading the Nexus for that Money in the Bank match.
But whatever.
But yeah, I'm just watching it and I'm like, holy fuck, like this is kind of cool. This guy looks kind of cool. And then it gets later into the night and he makes his entrance for his match and he comes out to fucking kill switch engage. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have to watch Raw every week because this dude is coming out to fucking kill switch engage. Like, this is awesome. And like at the time, and they still are, but especially at the time in 2011, kill switch engage was like one of my fucking favorite bands ever. So I start watching, and this is like literally the week before the pipe bomb promo.
Yep.
So my first sit down watching wrestling again after a couple of years is seeing CM Punk with the Nexus. And then the next fucking week he cuts this scathing promo. It's the pipe bomb promo. You've heard it. I'm not going to go into details. And I was like, what the fuck? I have to watch Money in the Bank. Like, this is nuts. So I couldn't convince my mom to buy the pay-per-view, but I was somehow able to convince her to take me to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it instead.
That's awesome.
I don't know how that worked out. That she ended up spending more money going to Buffalo Wild Wings than watching the pay-per-view at home. But so we go to this fucking Buffalo Wild Wings, and if you're familiar with downtown Knoxville, you'll know where this is. The old Buffalo Wild Wings that was on the Strip on Cumberland Avenue.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. That place is fucking awesome. But anyway, we're sitting outside. I don't remember anything else about the pay-per-view. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're sitting outside on the patio. It's July. It's a July night. It's fucking nice outside. And I'm 14. So I'm watching Money in the Bank at Buffalo Wild Wings. And I don't remember anything about the pay-per-view except again, I don't know anything about CM Punk at this point. We get the promo, and then it comes back from the promo to the Chicago crowd chanting his name. And dude, I was hooked. And then he comes out and he's just full of just, oh my God. The match happens, he wins, he jumps the barricade, he blows the kiss, he takes off. And I was back. I was hooked. I was back. There was no stopping me. And then I get to enjoy him for 2 years. And he's gone. And yeah. And so since then, it's just been this long road of disappointment and honestly, like sadness because, and I I don't want to get too like emotional about it, but wrestling's always been my comfort place. No matter what's going on, I've always had wrestling to fall back on, no matter how, shitty it is at the time. But like it's always been there, but it just wasn't the same. And Friday was that moment for me again. Friday was that moment of, me coming back and me falling back in love with wrestling. And I have not shut up about wrestling since Friday.
I talked to a customer. I'm in sales. I talked to a customer on the phone today, and we were talking about our weekends. And I was like, oh yeah, I watched this wrestling show with a buddy of mine. He was like, you saw CM Punk came back? Hell yeah, I did.
So speaking of that, my mom is actually probably a bigger Punk fan than I am. And she no shit has not watched a single second of wrestling since Royal Rumble 2014, sorry. Because she just is not interested when CM Punk is not on the television. She watched Rampage Friday, and she is going to be purchasing All Out on September 5th.
Hell yeah.
Which is like that's crazy. And I'm not even going to be here to watch that with her. Like, she's going to be watching that on her own because she wants to fucking see CM Punk.
I love that.
And it's awesome, dude. But yeah, throw us both under the bus here. During his entrance to the ring, we both had to mute our mics because we were fucking crying like little babies. But yeah, dude.
It was funny too because I cried when Edge came back.
Oh yeah, I did too.
But it was a very different cry than the Edge cry.
Edge coming back was a good for him kind of cry, you know?
It was a good for him cry, and it was for me at least, the Edge leaving was just such a devastating thing for me because it was so quick and out of nowhere. Punk was a cathartic cry. It was a cry of, again, 15 years of, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. I cannot, like, if you had told me, if you said 3 years ago, who is more likely to come back, Edge or CM Punk, I would have said Edge.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Like, absolutely.
I firmly believed that he was not going to come back.
No, I didn't think there was any chance of that happening.
And even up until the moment where we're watching Dynamite, and I kept making jokes, I was like, and Bryan Danielson's going to come out any second now. It was like, I couldn't believe it. And so when it happened, it was just this rush of emotion.
And here's, you kind of said this, well, you didn't kind of, you definitely did say it. I've been so conditioned to be disappointed that when his music hit and when his like crossed hands came up on the screen and his name come up on the screen, I was still like, okay, it's not him though.
Yep, I was like, MJF's gonna fuck with us, and then Punk's gonna come out later or whatever.
And then like once he walked out on the stage, I had an out of body experience.
Literally though,
like it was ridiculous, dude. I still can't believe it. I actually and to bring it back, I actually fucking right before we started recording, I put a tweet out that said, and it did just happen. I just came to the realization that I haven't watched CM Punk work a match since 2 days before my 17th birthday.
Holy shit!
I was 16 years old the last time when he was in that Royal Rumble.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it's incredible, dude. But I somehow stuck around.
And we are a little over a week away.
Yeah.
From getting to see him. So I say that I'm not going to get to see him wrestle because I'm going to be at Bonnaroo, which is going to be great, and I'm very, very excited for it. I'm low key a little mad at myself because I'm going to miss that, and I'm also going to miss the Shang-Chi premiere. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. And I'll get to be really stupid with all of my friends, but I'm not going to see CM Punk wrestle.
Well, listen here, you fucking Mark. I canceled all my fucking plans for that weekend. And that's all I'm fucking doing. I don't give a fuck. I went from, because I'm always in Bristol at Brady's every weekend. And we went from, well, we're going to play like WWE 2K and like we might watch All Out if we get bored with it, to I'm going to throw your PlayStation out the fucking window if we don't buy All Out.
If we're not watching All Out.
So that's what that is transformed into.
Yeah, I very honestly might be that guy in the middle of the crowd on the Saturday night headliner, watching wrestling on my phone, just to see the match. Honestly, I don't even know if I need to see the match. I just want to see him in his gear. I want to see him come out.
Yeah.
I want to see him say it's clobbering time. I want to see him take the shirt off, and I'll be happy because I know the match is going to be good. I have
fucking Allen.
Yeah, like Darby Allin is getting up there in terms of like Kenny with like he could carry a broomstick to a good match.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's like, despite the fact the first half of this was all of the horribleness that is the WWE, I'm really, really happy to be a pro wrestling fan right now.
Oh, dude, wrestling's awesome. WWE fucking sucks, but wrestling is fucking awesome.
Wrestling is fucking awesome. And just to quickly touch on this, and I know you don't follow it nearly as much, man, New Japan USA. Holy shit.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know if you've watched any of Strong,
Yeah.
but their resurgence show, Tomohiro Ishii versus Moose. Oh man, that was a fucking amazing match.
Yeah.
NJPW is firing on all cylinders right now. I have heard and seen from some sources on some Twitter DMs of some nice podcast folks that I like that we're going to have a lot to look forward to come G1 season here stateside.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You and I had our New Japan kick. You're still over there quite a bit. I am not. I keep myself too busy to keep up with every company. I do know what's going on in New Japan. I just don't watch it as often as I used to or would like to.
Well, and I've definitely become very good at picking what I watch.
Right.
I am very picky about the matches that I watch. I keep up with everything, but what I watch is fewer and far between. But this last weekend between AEW, NXT, SummerSlam, and New Japan, I watched a shitload of wrestling.
Oh yeah, dude. I watched. I guess I didn't watch all of SummerSlam. I did watch a couple matches, but dude, just from that and like watching Dynamite and watching Dark Elevation and watching Rampage and watching what I'd watched of Takeover. Oh my fucking god! And then we have to watch. And then I watched fucking Impact Resurgence, and now Dynamite's tomorrow, and then Impact's on Thursday, and then Rampage is on Friday. My fucking head is going to explode, but it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be great. It's there. I can't think of a better time since the Attitude Era to be a pro wrestling fan than right now.
Yeah.
Like it does not matter what you like, you can find it.
Yep. And I will one more thing, and then we'll start to wrap it up. To come back to talking about how you and I were like the big New Japan guys. It was a couple weeks ago. I was reading the Dominion results, and I was just like, "Oh man!" And I got really sad. This year was the first year we didn't stay up all night and watch Dominion in 3 years.
Oh my god, we didn't, did we? I didn't even think about it.
I didn't either. Not once did it cross my mind, and it makes me really sad, dude. That was like our whole thing. It was,
damn.
We would always watch Wrestle Kingdom, and then we would watch New Year's Dash the next day, and then we would watch Dominion together.
Yep.
But I can't fucking do that anymore, dude. I'm getting too old.
Yeah, me too. I think we should do it for the G1 finals this year.
We should.
I think we should do the G1 finals. I think that would be a lot of fun, and then try and do Wrestle Kingdom again.
Fuck it, I'm down.
Let's do it. Well, yeah, man. I'm happy to be a wrestling fan, and we'll be back. What's the next pay-per-view we're talking about?
So actually, while we're going to talk about our actual podcast, that's not this. And this is something that I found out today. I told you about it earlier today. Our podcast, the YouTube version of Revenge of the Taker, has been taken down. WWE really doesn't fucking like me anymore. I got by with having the show intro on Uncensored, the first episode. It flagged it for Spring Stampede, so I edited it up a little bit. And then Revenge of the Taker, I tried something a little different. I made the video like really small in comparison to the rest of the screen. And it worked for like 3 days. And then I went to listen to it today, and it was gone. So I don't know what's up with that. The audio podcast is still not out for that episode. It's just sitting in Podbean purgatory. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm working on getting all that fixed. But yeah, on the flip side of that, to answer your question, our next podcast is going to be in your house, WWF in your house, a cold day in hell.
Nice.
And I think, unless plans have changed, I think we're going to be recording 2 episodes that day. They're not going to come out the same day. But we're also going to record the next WCW pay-per-view, which I honestly have no fucking idea what it is, but I'll bring it up whenever we record for Cold Day in Hell. I don't feel like pulling up the schedule right now.
That's very fair. But cool. I'm excited, and yeah, I think we definitely should. You know, I think every couple of weeks we should hop on and do one of these kind of state of the state.
Yeah, I was just about to say that maybe every couple weeks, maybe once a month, we'll see how it all works out. But yeah, like because you know our thing is we're talking about old shit, but there's a lot of shit that's happening right now.
A lot of good shit.
And I don't think giving it 5-10 minutes on our intro is really doing justice to like how much shit is happening in wrestling at the moment.
Completely agree.
But yeah, next time you hear us, we'll be talking in your house not Revenge of the Taker. In your house, Cold Day in Hell. Yeah, fuck it. Until next time, we'll see you.
Peace.